Did you come up with your answer? Ready to check it with the key? Okay. Tell yourself, answer yourself. Which technology did you choose? Okay. And you have all the numbers in front of you. Okay. Let's go and see the answer. Here we see the answer. It's tell us absolutely it is worth changing the technology. And it will save us, according to what you see here, $252,500. So here we are going to do it in this way. The order was halfway. 3 million was the total order, so it would be 1,500,000 remaining. Material, labor, and other costs. Because it is the first technology, the other cost is 2.5 times 15 cents. So we can handle. Just see the good point regarding this example. It tells you if you are thinking like a financial manager or not. If you came up to answer with this clarity, that's a great thing. So it seems that it shows that you have a structured mind regarding making your financial decisions. If not, no worry at all, because for the rest of this semester we are going to work on that type of thing, and it is just the beginning. So just see how much the mind of a financial manager is clear. They say, okay, I have 1,500,000 remaining order. That will cost me, as you see here. So I can cover all the remaining order at the cost of $1,387,500. But if I go with the new technology, my total cost would be this, plus that initial investment. So it is smaller than this, and we have saving. You may say, what about that $500,000? It doesn't impact our decision, because if you decide to continue with technology 1, or if you decide to change to technology 2, it has been gone. You have already done that. So that's clear thinking when you are making financial decisions. And whenever you have any question or any discussion or anything, you can post it into the discussion post or contact me. We can discuss it together. A good financial manager has a good categorization of different costs. I told you about that good structure in your brain. Because when you have that structure, when you have that clarity in a way of thinking, of course you are going to make better decisions. Of course you are going to do better analysis. Okay, we are just going to do a quick review on that thing. We have fixed cost and variable cost. And the fixed costs are that type of cost that they are constant, unchanging, no matter what is the level of your production, no matter what is the level of your activity. And their examples are property taxes, the salaries you are paying to the management team, licenses, rent. No matter you are selling 1,000 burger per day or 5 burger per day, you need to pay the rent. But the variable cost are those that changing according to the level of your production. If you are making 1,000 burgers per day, it means that you are using more meat, for example, or you are using more tomato or that type of thing. So it's always helpful to know about the category of the cost that you are making the decision on. These two are my favorite parts, marginal cost and average cost. Marginal cost helps in doing the financial management decision very much because it tells you what is the cost of the last item. Okay, for example, you are making, for example, cars even. Okay, you are making cars. You sum up all the costs you have and you divide it by the number of units and you come up with the average cost. But average cost doesn't mean in reality all the items that you are manufacturing are putting the same cost on your company. So that's the reason we have that things, marginal cost. Marginal cost, it means that now we have made 1,000 cars. Okay, if we want to make the 1,000 first car, what is the cost of that last one? So you see, in many analyses, you are going to use that. It is not about the average. How much this last one cost you? So in the analysis, for example, if at this point you are exactly at the even point, we are going to talk about these type of things, but again, my friends, I don't want to make a prolonged videos that are fluffed with the material. So please, if you have points that you want to discuss with me or discuss with your friends, just jump to the discussion forum or email me. We can talk and we can discuss all these things because financial management is a broad area that, of course, it is impossible to handle all the topics. So I'm just referring to them and make you, as much as I can, to the best of my ability, make you curious about those type of things and you start thinking about them. Here we have a good example, and as we talked about the method in our class, please stop the video and try to come up with the best answer. As you can see, the answer that are provided here, there are 5 choices. I hope E is not your answer, and try to answer this question. And feel free, while you are trying to get this answer, Google search and also use ChatGPT or generative AI as a tutor. For example, ask about the formula or the math behind this or anything, but the part that you are supposed to answer the question as a financial manager, you should answer it to learn how to think like a financial manager. Stop your video. Okay, let's check the answer from the last choice. About this one, no, we are not confused. We completely understand what's happening here. We have fixed cost, that is, for example, the rent of that place. So no matter how much is the production in that company, we need to pay $3,000 as the rent. And after that, per unit, we need to pay $200. Okay? And what happens here, after you are starting to produce more than 10 product, the variable cost, that you should now be familiar with these topics because you should know about accounting generally, and you should know about economics, and in those courses you should have become familiar with the idea of fixed cost and variable cost. So after 10, the variable costs become 300 per unit. Why? Because, for example, the country is facing some sort of shortages regarding the raw material, and if they want more, they need to import it. And when they import it, they are more expensive, because when you import it, transportation cost also adds up. Okay, and remember, my friends, as financial managers, that's the most important thing, is to learn to think like a financial manager. Make sure you are never confused regarding financial topics. Like a warrior, like a gladiator, that they always welcome new challenges to prove to themselves that they are the best, they are the strongest. You should have the same thing. Please put aside that attitude that as soon as you see something that has some sort of calculation, oh, I'm not that type of person. No, that's a myth that you are not good with math. Absolutely, you are good with that. When you are trying to train yourself in the field of business, you should learn to work with numbers. That is very different from math. Okay, let's go. So now we are not confused because we were able to analyze this. Total cost is 3,000 plus. That part is correct because it says that fixed cost plus. But here it says that the variable cost is $300. That is not correct because the volume now is at the level of 5. And at the level of 5, we can get our raw material locally. That is cheaper. So this one is also not correct. Fixed cost is $300 per unit. That's absolutely not correct, because fixed cost is something that has no relation with the level of production. Okay, we go to B. Fixed cost is $3,000. That's correct. Variable cost is $1,000. That is not correct. So we get to the correct answer here. Fixed cost is 3,000. Variable cost is 2,000. So if I ask you how much is the total cost at the level of 5, you are going to say $4,000. If I ask you what is the total cost at the level of 15, what would be your answer? Stop the video and write down the answer, and make sure you understand every pixel in this slide screen that you see in front of you. The most philosophical category of costs, sunk cost. What I'm saying philosophical, because you can say hundreds of life lessons that the focus is forget about sunk cost. Sunk costs are that cost that you have already paid. They shouldn't affect future decisions. For example, in the example that we just did together, no matter you have paid $500,000 for this technology that you are about to change it, that's gone. It shouldn't affect your decisions. Get the new technology with $100,000 and still you are gonna save money. That's very delicate point, that sunk cost shouldn't affect future decisions. The best example for sunk cost is that $500,000 you paid for technology 1, but you change it for technology 2. Another categorization of costs is categorizing them according to their recurrence. Some costs are recurring and some not. And of course, it has always impact on our decisions that sometimes you are gonna handle some costs for just one time and sometimes no, they are recurring. But my favorite part in this slide is this. See, when I'm saying financial management is a way of thinking, it is apparent here that see how much professionally it is wording the concept of insurance. It says insurance, you are making some non-recurring costs. For example, a major damage to the roof, and let's say it is not recurring, non-recurring, that can happen, for example, here. You are replacing it with your financial decision making with installment for insurance. And it is not, I should say it in this way, because that's also a cost. So you are replacing a big non-recurring, maybe zero, maybe several times. So you are making a non-recurring cost a recurring cost because of all the things you know about insurance. But the point is that the beautiful formulation of insurance in this structure as a financial manager. So a financial manager looks at insurance in this way. Non-recurring cost, I'm going to replace, that can be unaffordable, I'm going to replace it with some affordable recurring costs. This slide cannot be used as a reference, but it gives you an idea when we are talking about estimation. What do we mean by that? For example, when we are talking an acceptable rough estimates, what is the level of accuracy? According to this reference that you see in front of you, that is also in your course syllabus as one of the references I have put over there, that is optional, you see that it is offering 3 categories: rough estimates, semi-detailed estimates, and detailed estimates. So you see, even at this level of accuracy, it is still considered acceptable. Minus 30% to plus 60%. And even when we are talking about a very good estimates, there is still an estimation for the error that, as you can see, minus 3 to 5%, because always financial decisions, economic analyses, they are future based, and when they are future based, it means that they are not 100% accurate. So it is just to give you an idea of the accuracy of the estimates that we are working on. So for example, if you are working with estimates that are a minus plus 20%, it is considered a good estimate. It's very interesting here that in our analysis, when we are looking for accuracy, we should know that accuracy is very expensive. As you can see here, it is not some sort of linear. For example, if you add 10% to accuracy, you are going to get 10% extra cost. No, if you are adding 10% to accuracy, you are going to have 50% more costs. So as you can see, the cost of accuracy increases exponentially. with accuracy. And that's a very interesting point to know when you are doing your analysis. As I told you, you are already a financial manager because you have made many financial management decisions. So whenever I give you an example, I want you confidently tackle that. So here we have another one. Let's check it together. A 1600 square feet clean manufacturing area recently cost $8 million. Use per unit model to estimate cost of a new 2000 square feet area. Okay, here when you are checking it, you see, oh, here it says that per unit model. I don't know about this. Just use your common sense. When it says per unit model, it means that it is linear. So how you are going to handle that? Now it gives you the idea that 1600 square feet cost 8 million. You can get the cost of each square feet and you calculate this. So stop the video and do this before I show you the answer. Okay, we go for the answer. It says that 8 million for 1600. So the result would be $5,000 per square feet, correct? Now that we know each square feet cost us $5,000, so how much would be the cost for 2,000? So 2,000 times 5,000, and here is the answer. I hope you got the correct answer.